In this video, I'm going to explain the basics of how to get your music on Spotify playlists. I'll tell you how you can do this for free and also give you some options that are paid as well. Both of which you'll be able to start implementing right now, regardless of the size of your fan base. If you're looking for a holistic, in-depth guide that explains everything about how you should be marketing your music from start to finish, then you can download my ultimate guide to marketing your music. It's completely free and is available at pages.adam-fiasco.com/ultimate marketing guide. The link is in the description below. So, focusing on Spotify, the first thing that you're going to need to do is to prime your profile on Spotify for artists. I've spoken about this process before in my Instagram video, but it is so important to establish yourself as a credible artist for any new visitors who come across your profile. Now, the first step of priming your profile on Spotify is to get verified. This is essential for both Spotify and fans to recognise you as a credible, established artist. It also very likely plays a role in prioritising your music in the Spotify algorithm as well. And best of all, it is a really simple process. Just log into your Spotify for Artists account, confirm all your details, and once Spotify has verified those, then you'll receive your blue tick. Secondly, make sure to complete your artist bio. Include as much detail as possible about who you are, what you do, and who your music is for. Make it interesting to read to grab people's attention, include links to your social media profiles, and also use good quality, professional looking images. As with other social media profiles, my advice is to avoid using band logos or artist logos and instead include a high quality professional image that shows your face. This is much more likely to connect with people versus using a logo. Now, the average user probably doesn't spend much time at all reading artist bios on Spotify, but if you are pitching to playlists, then the curators of those playlists very likely will. So this needs to be well done. Within your Spotify for Artists account, you can also create your own playlist, which is a great way to promote your music through. If you create a playlist of similar songs by well-known, much bigger artists, and then share this on your socials, you can very likely get people to listen and follow it. If you then make sure that your latest single is somewhere within that playlist, then this can be a great way to generate some initial streams. Aim for at least 50 songs in your playlist and avoid the temptation of putting your song in the top 5 places. Instead, use that space to put the biggest, most well-known popular songs that are similar to yours in order to draw people in and get them to listen and follow it. So once you've done all of that and your profile is primed, then you're ready to start pitching to playlists. Now, the holy grail here is to get your track on one of the Spotify editorial playlists. But honestly, this probably isn't going to happen until you've had some repeated success at getting on small user-generated playlists and you've generated some streams and followers. However, you should always submit new music to the Spotify editorials. It's really quick and simple to do, and the payoff is massive. Now, at the moment, you can only submit one track at a time to the editorials. So if you've got an EP or an album, then you need to make sure that you select your best track, and you can only submit to the editorials before the track is released. So make sure you upload and submit your track to your distributor in plenty of time. I always recommend aiming for a month before release, but at the bare minimum you should aim for 2 weeks. As soon as your track is showing up in your Spotify for Artists account, then you can submit it to the editorials. Be sure to fill in the track information accurately or it could hurt your performance. This includes your song's genres, cultures and mood. There's then a field to fill in where Spotify asks you to describe your track. And this is your opportunity to sell yourself and tell the curator all of the reasons why they should include your song on their playlist. Include a brief description of what the song is about and inspired by, along with any notable press, gigs, or any previous successes that would validate you as a credible artist. In addition, you can also submit your music to independent playlist curators. There are a ton of playlists on Spotify created by ordinary users who just love certain styles of music. And many of these have a huge number of regular listeners. And the good news is it's really easy to get in contact with them to pitch your music. Now, one way that you can do this is to search for playlists that are curated by someone with a real name and profile image. You can then go to Facebook or the platform of your choice and search for that person If you make sure that the names match and the profile image matches, then you can be certain that you've got the right person, and then add them as a friend or follow them. Now, once you've done this, be smart with how you approach them. If the playlist has a huge number of regular listeners, then they're going to be constantly inundated with requests. And also, if they're just an ordinary user, then this is very likely not going to be their job. So instead of reaching out and instantly pitching your track, strike up conversation, compliment them on the playlist, and find some common ground with your music interests. At this point, they will be much more receptive to you asking if you can pitch your music, and they might even ask you for a link before you have to do that. Now, if you can add value to them at this point, this will massively go in your favour. You could offer to share this playlist with your fans, but only do that if you have a decent following and it's going to get them a decent number of followers to the playlist. If you don't have that, then you could offer to run some paid ads to the playlist once your music is on it. That shows a decent level of commitment on your part. Now, another option to get on independent Spotify playlists is to use the search function for the different parameters on Spotify. You can search for playlists based on genre, mood, or similar artists. And once you've figured out where your track sits in these 3 different areas, find playlists and head to the description. Very often, the curator will include details of how you can pitch your music. Sometimes it might be a link to a landing page where you then go and upload your track, or it might be an email address which you have to send to. So everything that we've mentioned so far are tried and tested ways to get your music on great playlists and completely free to implement. However, they can be very time intensive, and you may also find it to be a slow process if you're having to spend time building relationships with people before you can reach out and pitch your music. So what are some alternative solutions that can put your music on great playlists right now with very little time investment? Well, one option is Submit Hub. Now, there are mixed reviews about this platform all over the internet. However, it's undeniable that there are many artists getting incredible results using Submit Hub. If you spend a little bit of time up front learning the ins and outs of the platform and the best practices, then there is every reason that you can have success here for very little time investment in the future. A really great resource if you want to learn more about Submit Hub is at Bandhive. James, who runs Bandhive, is a good friend of mine and is super knowledgeable about Submit Hub and how to get the best out of this platform. And he put together an awesome guide, so you should definitely check that out. Another option to get on independent Spotify playlists is to use one of the many available Spotify playlist pitching services. This is a little more expensive, but it is very easy to get your track on playlists that have an insane amount of followers if your music is good enough. This does come with a huge disclaimer though. Whilst there's many playlisting services to choose from, a lot of these will actually use bots to generate fake streams, and this is something that you should avoid like the plague because it can actually harm your growth in the future. There's even been cases where Spotify has taken streams away from artists, and in some cases, worst case scenario, has even disabled their accounts because they have had fake generated streams. So be really careful when you're choosing this option. A really good place to start with this is Omari MC. They aren't the cheapest, but they are extremely proactive at vetting the quality of the playlist they submit your music to ensure that the streams and followers you do get are genuine. The link to their website is in the description below. So if you start implementing any of these strategies, you will be well on your way to success with Spotify playlists and likely generate tens of thousands of streams for each of your songs and start getting traction and new followers. It worked for my band, The Fiasco. On our new single Fairy Tale, in just a month, we generated over 8,000 streams, 13 new followers, and over 6,000 extra monthly listeners. Kerry Fuller, a country singer-songwriter that I worked with, achieved over 25,000 streams of her debut single Crybaby, all inside of a month, and also hit almost 6,000 monthly listeners. And Tristan Williams, another singer-songwriter that I've worked with, combined over 36,000 streams with his first 2 releases and hit around 10,000 monthly listeners. However, all of these artists use Spotify as part of a much more detailed marketing campaign to get traction and get new fans through multiple avenues. If you want to learn more about this and how you too can market your music more effectively, then download my ultimate guide to marketing your music. It's completely free. Go to pages.adam-fiasco.com/ultimate marketing guide. The link is in the description below.